The Young and the Restless spoilers shock Wednesday. Full episodes April 23, 2025. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that Victor Newman is harboring a dangerous secret, one so explosive that even Jack and Kyle Abbott's latest discovery may pale in comparison. As Genoa City braces for upheaval, loyalties will be tested, alliances will shift, and the very foundations of two of its most powerful families will tremble under the weight of hidden truths. Victor Newman's dark confession: behind the polished facade of Newman Enterprises and the patriarch's steely gaze lies a secret Victor has guarded for decades. Rumor has it that in the early days of his empire, Victor struck a covert deal with a shadowy investor, one that granted him untold resources but at a terrible cost. Though the terms were supposed to remain buried forever, a handful of documents recently surfaced in Newman's private vault. Correspondence hinting at payments made to an offshore shell corporation, and a single, unmarked ledger page suggesting that Victor's rise may have been financed by illicit proceeds. As word of these papers begins to leak, Victor grows increasingly frantic. He knows that if this scandal breaks, it could unravel everything he built: his company's sterling reputation, his family's standing, and the decades-long legacy of the Newman name. Over the next week, expect Victor to take drastic measures, hiring private investigators, issuing threats cloaked as firm business decisions, and perhaps even attempting to buy back or destroy the incriminating evidence before it reaches the hands of the press. Jack and Kyle's shocking discovery. Meanwhile, at the Abbott mansion, father and son have stumbled upon something equally startling. While clearing out an old storage room ahead of Diane Jenkins Abbott's big renovation reveal, Jack and Kyle uncover a hidden safe embedded behind a loose panel. Inside lies a stack of faded letters and a single black and white photograph showing Kyle, as a toddler, in the arms of a woman who is not Diane, or so it seems at first glance. The photograph is accompanied by a torn medical report bearing Kyle's birth date and listing a different hospital than the one recorded in his official files. Jack, reeling from the possibility that his son's paternity record may have been altered, must decide whether to confront Kyle immediately or to delve deeper into the evidence first. Kyle, already grappling with his own identity, is thrown into turmoil. Could the person he has always believed to be his mother have covered up the truth all these years? Over the coming days, father and son will embark on an uneasy investigation that may pit them against some of Genoa City's most powerful figures. Even Victoria and Nick Newman could be drawn into the fray as loyalties realign. Claire Grace Newman's crossroads. In a more tender storyline, Claire Grace Newman finds herself at an emotional impasse. Should she uproot her life and move in with Kyle Abbott, she wonders, even though Victoria Newman has already voiced her objections? Victoria, ever the matriarch, fears that Claire's youth and idealism may not withstand the cutthroat realities of Abbott Industries. Yet Nikki Newman, with her motherly compassion, champions Claire's independence and encourages her to make her own path, regardless of Victor's disapproval. Viewers will see Claire convene a private family council that includes both Victoria and Cole Howard, seeking counsel on balancing her desire for autonomy with her need for familial approval. This intimate gathering will culminate in Claire's decision, one that will surprise viewers, for she has always been careful to avoid drama. Will she defy Victor and follow her heart to Genoa City's north side? Or will she heed caution and stay within the safety of the Newman fold? Her choice will ripple through both families, affecting boardroom dynamics at Jabot and stirring fresh tensions at Newman Enterprises. Diane Jenkins Abbott's grand reveal. Back at the Abbott estate, Diane Jenkins Abbott has poured her heart into an ambitious home renovation, one she's certain will symbolize both her love for Jack and her commitment to the family's future. With Tracy Abbott reluctantly spread thin by the Martin Laurent scandal, Diane has taken the lead on every detail, from the new French doors polish to a mirror shine, to the custom-designed fireplace mantel engraved with both Abbott and Newman crests. In a dramatic preview, Diane blindfolds Jack and Kyle before leading them through the mansion's grand foyer. She instructs them not to remove their blindfolds until she gives the signal. The camera cuts to their outstretched hands brushing against fresh wallpaper, ornate moldings, and plush carpeting that cushions their footsteps. When Diane finally bids them open their eyes, the look on Jack and Kyle's faces is impossible to read, jaw agape, eyes widened, expressions caught somewhere between awe and disbelief. Is Diane's masterpiece a triumph of design, or has she overstepped her boundaries, replacing cherished family heirlooms with her own aesthetic vision? The answer will emerge in the next episode, when Jack's first words, are they of genuine admiration, or do they betray a deeper concern? What lies ahead as Victor battles to contain his clandestine dealings? Jack and Kyle grapple with the possibility that everything they believed about their family history may be a lie. Claire must choose between the love of two families, and Diane stands poised to either win their admiration or ignite fresh discord with her stunning home makeover. Genoa City has never been more volatile. Boardroom betrayals, family confrontations, and the slow unspooling of long-buried secrets guarantee that the coming weeks will be must-watch television. Stay tuned to The Young and the Restless for each dramatic twist, as hearts will break, alliances will shatter, and in the end, only the strongest bonds will survive the ultimate test of loyalty and trust. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that an intricate web of ambition, loyalty, and hidden agendas is set to entangle Genoa City's most formidable players in the weeks ahead. In the heart of this unfolding drama is Tessa Porter, whose goodwill and creative ingenuity have led her into unfamiliar territory, partnering with Daniel Romalotti, Jr. on a top-secret design initiative. Daniel Jr., long overshadowed by his father's legacy and the Newman Abbott power struggle, has approached Tessa with a bold vision. One that promises to redefine the aesthetic of Jabot's upcoming legacy collection. Tessa, ever the consummate professional, agrees to lend her talents, only to discover that Daniel's project is more than a mere fashion statement. Whispers suggest that Victor Newman himself commissioned this collaboration as part of a broader scheme to undermine Jack Abbott's influence over the cosmetics empire. As Tessa pours her heart into rendering sketches of avant-garde couture, she remains blissfully unaware that every swatch of fabric she selects, every hue she pairs, is being scrutinized by rival operatives hoping to exploit any misstep. Meanwhile, Audra Charles finds herself under a double spotlight, her every move watched and critiqued by two very different provocateurs. Lily Winters, whose loyalty to her family runs deeper than any boardroom alliance, has begun to question Audra's intentions with mounting suspicion. She corners Audra in the Newman conference room, peppering her with pointed inquiries about the true purpose behind her recent overtures toward the family's philanthropic trust. Audra, cool and composed, deflects Lily's interrogation with practiced grace, but the tension lingers. Unbeknownst to Lily, Holden Novak has also taken an interest in Audra's maneuvers. As an old-school private investigator with ties to the Winters clan, Holden shadow follows Audra's confidants, listening for the smallest slip of tongue that might betray the ambition fueling her actions. Between Lily's heartfelt concerns and Holden's relentless vigilance, Audra realizes that completing Victor's mission, a cryptic directive that may involve gaining control of a rival subsidiary, will prove far more treacherous than she ever anticipated. On another front of the city's social battleground, Billy Abbott has devised a surprise proposition for Sally Spectra, one that threatens to upend the delicate balance of power at Spectra Fashions. Billy, determined to strengthen Jabot's hold over the runway market, offers Sally an exclusive licensing deal that includes unprecedented creative autonomy, provided she aligns with Newman's interests. Sally, whose loyalty to her family's storied legacy runs deep, finds herself torn between gratitude for the opportunity and dread at becoming a pawn in the Newman-Abbott chess match. As Sally deliberates, Chelsea Lawson quietly begins to suspect that Adam Newman's recent absence from the corporate fray masks something far more sinister than a simple business trip. Chelsea, already on edge from Adam's frequent unexplained phone calls and late nights, notices a recurring reference to the Alchemy Project, a codename that has never before come up in Adam's professional portfolio. With Adam's lofty ambitions known to border on the reckless, Chelsea prepares to confront him, fearing that whatever he's orchestrating could ignite a conflagration that engulfs not only their marriage but the entire Newman clan. Caught in the crossfire of these machinations is Michael Baldwin, whose moral compass often finds itself compromised by his role as both defense attorney and reluctant corporate consigliere. As Jabot and Newman Enterprises exchange legal volleys over intellectual property claims and hostile takeover threats, Michael's nights grow restless. He tosses and turns, plagued by vivid dreams of boardroom betrayals and severed alliances. Lauren Fenmore Baldwin, ever the devoted wife, watches Michael's spiraling anxiety with mounting concern. She urges him to seek rest and reprieve from the endless conflict, but Michael, ever the warrior, insists he cannot afford to let his guard down for even a moment. Their once peaceful home has become a war room of strategy briefs and deposition transcripts, and Lauren worries that the stress is carving deep lines into the man she loves. Yet Michael's dedication stems from more than professional duty. He believes that the balance of power in Genoa City, and the safety of those he holds dear, hinges on the outcome of this corporate melee. Amid these personal and professional upheavals, Audra Charles stands at a life-altering crossroads. Encouraged by the prospect of securing control over a venerable company division, she contemplates a daring move, leveraging her burgeoning influence to push through a coup that could cement her status as a corporate titan. But the price of ambition has never been higher. Danny Romalotti, Jr., Lily, Holden, and even Victor's own inner circle are watching for any sign of weakness, ready to pounce at the first miscalculation. Worse still, Audra faces the possibility of losing Nate Hastings, her protégé and the young man she's come to regard as family, if she forsakes her moral compass in pursuit of power. Rumors swirl that Nate, torn between loyalty to Audra and his own sense of justice, may side with those who offer him a clearer conscience rather than those who promise him a position at the negotiation table. As Audra balances on the knife edge between triumph and tragedy, she must ask herself whether the corporate crown she yearns for will ever outweigh the familial bonds she holds most dear. With these complex storylines entwining, Genoa City braces for a season of revelations, betrayals, and heart-stopping confrontations. The choices each character makes, Tess's partnership with Daniel Jr., Lily and Holden's scrutiny of Audra, Billy's overture to Sally, Chelsea's pursuit of Adam's secrets, Michael's sleepless vigilance, and Audra's gamble on corporate conquest, will reverberate far beyond the boardroom. When the smoke clears, alliances will be reforged or broken, secrets will rise to the surface, and the question on every viewer's mind will be, who will emerge from the chaos with both their ambitions and their hearts intact? Stay tuned to The Young and the Restless as Genoa City's finest fight for love, legacy, and the soul of their families. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that amidst boardroom rivalries and family feuds, unexpected moments of camaraderie can blossom over something as simple and as indulgent as a tiramisu latte. In a quiet corner of Society Bistro, Billy Abbott and his nephew Kyle Abbott discovered this unlikely bond as they shared not only creamy espresso and mascarpone but also bits of strategy and sincerity. Kyle, fresh from his own trials within Abbott Industries, looked on with admiration as Billy teased him about having a few new tricks up my sleeve for the upcoming big launch. Billy's playful wink and casual confidence left Kyle genuinely impressed. Here was the uncle who once seemed so invincible in corporate warfare, now offering guidance over coffee instead of conflict. In that moment, Kyle's respect deepened. He saw in Billy not just a family legend, but a mentor willing to break bread and dessert with him, reinforcing Kyle's realization that blood ties can outlast even the fiercest boardroom battles. The real surprise came when Billy leaned forward, his tone uncharacteristically sincere, and admitted that it felt strange to find himself aligned with Kyle in this latest power struggle. Normally, uncle and nephew stood on opposing sides of Newman Abbott skirmishes, but Kyle's rapid growth, in confidence, in business acumen, and in emotional maturity, had forged a new alliance. Kyle returned the sentiment without hesitation, stating that he had grown up and learned that family loyalty must outweigh any corporate vendetta. He raised his cup to Billy, smiling broadly as he offered his best wishes for the launch, even with Phyllis inevitably circling like a shark in these contentious waters. In that toast, 2 generations of Abbotts sealed a temporary truce, united by shared goals and the unspoken promise that, no matter what came next, they would face it together. This fragile peace was put to the test at a more intimate setting, breakfast at Society, where Claire Grace Newman chose to drop what can only be described as a domestic bombshell. As plates of eggs Benedict and mimosas were served, Claire coolly announced that Kyle had asked her to move in with him. The room fell silent. Nikki Newman's eyebrows shot skyward in astonishment, her fork forgotten mid-air. Victoria Newman, ever the protective mother, frowned and leaned back, her composure masking a swirl of doubts. Claire sensed the shock in her sister-in-law's eyes but remained undeterred. She calmly explained that she and Kyle had discussed this decision at length, weighing its pros and cons, and that the invitation was genuine. This, she insisted, was why Nikki and Victoria had been summoned, to share in the moment and to offer their counsel before any final commitment. The air crackled with tension, for Victor Newman's shadow loomed large. He had already made clear his disapproval of Claire's independence and her choice of living arrangements. Victoria spoke first, her voice measured but tinged with caution. She reminded Claire that decisions made in the heady glow of young love can have long-lasting consequences, especially when two corporate dynasties intersect. Take your time, Victoria advised gently, and think about how this might affect your career, your family name, and your relationship with both the Newmans and the Abbotts. Nikki, softer in her approach, placed a reassuring hand on Claire's shoulder. Your happiness matters, Nikki said, her eyes glistening with both pride and concern. But listen to your heart, and remember that we'll support you, whatever you choose. In the background, Kyle sat straighter as he observed the women he loved most debating his future home. His expression was a mixture of hope and gratitude. He knew he was asking for more than a couch. He was asking for a shared life under one roof. As breakfast dishes were cleared and conversations shifted toward lighter topics, the undercurrents of power and affection remained palpable. Billy and Kyle's newfound alliance promised to influence the upcoming launch in ways neither side could predict, while Claire's bold step toward domestic independence challenged the protective instincts of two matriarchs who had long guided her path. Meanwhile, Victor Newman, ever the patriarch, watched from afar, his frown deepening at the news that his granddaughter might decamp to the Abbott estate. He vowed to intercede, convinced that such a union could tip the delicate balance of power in Genoa City. Yet, in those stolen moments over tiramisu lattes and breakfast tables, the Abbotts and the Newmans were reminded that even in a world fueled by corporate intrigue, the bonds of family, and the courage to follow one's heart, can shine brighter than any boardroom coup. In the days ahead, as loyalties are tested and new alliances are forged, one truth remains inescapable. In Genoa City, love and ambition will always collide, and sometimes, the sweetest victories are those shared in quiet solidarity.